We are live from off the 18th green at Pebble Beach. Dave Marzetti, thank you so much for joining us. Does it get any better than get my face out of here? Look at that. Welcome, sir, to Touching Greatness. Oh, I've lost you now. I don't hear
No,
you.
I'm just kidding. I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
okay. Thank you for your sense of humor. We had fun on your radio show last night, and we'll do the same right now. Dave, you've been covering this tournament for 1,000 years. Tell everybody your background on being in this neighborhood and how long you've been in Monterey as Mr. Monterey's MC.
Quite a while, since about '89 or so. Was working radio in Boston for a long time, and that got to be another story. And was ready for a big life change, and I kept watching the Crosby or the AT&T on television, and seeing all these great shots from the blimp of Carmel and Pebble Beach, and I kept thinking to myself, it's too nice. I mean, I don't know if that's even real, but if it is, I'm sure there's people that live there,
Yeah.
and I could actually go live there. And it was like this big epiphany that happened, and I thought, well, I'm just gonna do it, and I'm gonna give myself a 2-year plan or a 1-year plan to get over there. And then it turned into like a 6-month plan because I couldn't wait. So I sold all
Hey,
my
so but
stuff,
did
and
you visited? You didn't visit. You just moved here.
right, I never was
Wow.
here
Wow.
and haven't left. And it's an amazing place, and especially when you get involved with not only the community but some of these signature events around here, like the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro Am and things like
Right.
that.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So, what do you remember about the first one you covered?
Well, I'll tell you, it was back then. Um, it was quite exciting because of the fact that it was, like 90, 91 or something like that, and
Yeah.
got the credentials and went to the media room, which at that time had about a dozen radio booths in it.
Wow.
And now there's none in the
Exactly.
media center, but there were about a dozen stations that would come in, mostly San Francisco Bay Area stations would come in, and then we had a couple of our local stations like ours, and we would cover the tournament all day, and it was really exciting because it was such a great big event, and there were so many not only professionals but a lot of well-known celebrities. It
Sure.
was just walking around that you could talk to at almost any given time, and a lot of people, a lot of them would visit the media room or the press room there and come in and jump on the radio with us. So, what are you doing there?
I'm moving around. I want
Oh
people to
yeah,
see
look at
you. You
that!
just keep talking, baby.
Look at that! That looks nice. That's
Isn't that great?
going right up 18 there.
Exactly. Who the hell has ever done a show from this scenery? The scenic view. Okay. There's two
What?
benches here, right? You know where I'm at, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think anyone's ever done a show from there before.
Well, that's why I'm here to do something different, baby.
That
What
is
can I tell you?
amazing.
Anyway, one
But
of the things.
the nice thing about the tournament is that over the years, I was lucky enough to become friends with some of the celebrities that would be playing in it. We would look forward to seeing each other every year when they came up and hang out and have shared dinner and wine and stuff together and cigars and
Yeah.
with Andy Garcia, and who
Great.
always contacted me before he came up and said, "You got my cigars? You got my cigars." We'd always share some cigars together, and that's one of the cool things about it is all those friendships have remained.
Fantastic. First of all, I want to also thank uh, Chris, Karen, and
Now you're
AT&T.
now you're
Did I
you're
break up?
really dropping out now.
I better move back to where.
Yeah,
Is that better?
yeah,
Okay.
that's going to be
Maybe I
better.
moved a little too far. I got
There
greedy
you
with the
go.
view. I don't care if my face is there. Nobody wants to look at my face anyway. As long as you can hear me, that's all that matters. By the way, Rory McIlroy has just taken the lead through 10. He's at 17 under, one ahead of Lucas Glover, Tom Kim, and those guys are still early on the back nine. So we got a long way to go. I
By the
want to
way,
hear some of your.
I
Yeah,
wanted to tell you about the fact that last night when you were on the show with us at Bar
yeah,
Napoli, the Little Napoli, for our last night of our wrap-up shows for the
yeah.
AT&T, you were telling all these great stories, and there was a table that was like right behind over my right shoulder, and they were
Yeah.
listening. They were listening to every word, and they were very impressed. They were very entertained, and they said, "Just you
Oh,
should just
good.
leave that guy on the whole show."
Well, thanks. At least I had three people interested. That was fun. I always enjoy that. You know that. And Rich Pepe, I mean, does it get any better than that? He took me over to Vesuvio, his other restaurant. We
Oh, that's
had
right.
lasagna. I had lasagna and some kind of soup that was just a killer, and was there with his wife Sandy, and we stayed until they closed the place. So it was really fun.
Did you go upstairs?
Yeah, I did, and he had me
Very good.
sign the wall too, which is interesting.
Wow.
I said, well, "Are you sure? I don't want to ruin this wall for you."
Did you
But
see
that
some of
was
the
very
names?
nice.
Some of the names on there are pretty
Oh
good.
yeah, everybody. It's like literally a Hall of Fame, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
No, it's fantastic. Anyway, so McElroy has a one-shot lead at this point through 11 holes. He's at 17 under. Uh, Tell us your earliest pro-am stories that you had, whether you played or you didn't play, and who you played with. I know you have some great John Denver chatter, and it's just so much.
Yeah, in the earlier days, in the early '90s, early to mid '90s, that's sort of like when the or even to the late '90s, all of the '90s,
Yeah,
there was really a great deal of celebrities that wanted to play this, that counted on getting an invite to this every year, and it was like
yeah.
it made their year. And there was that time like 90, I don't know, I think it was like 97, 98, right around there,
Right.
99.
By the
Tiger
way, I'm
was
going to say hi to
coming out.
Ricky Fowler. Rick, it's always good to see you, sir. Just walk right past me. Go ahead. Anyway,
Tiger was just coming out at that time, and I remember there were a number of some of those star-studded foursomes that always had like this pack of Monterey County sheriffs around them, like guiding them from the green to the next tee box because they would get just pulled every different way from all the fans. It was always Kevin Costner,
yeah,
and Andy Garcia, Mike. Let's see, Michael Douglas,
sure.
and
Bill
there
Murray,
was,
I'm sure.
yeah, Bill Murray. There was, and that was always like a part of that A group that went around,
Yeah,
and it was pretty heavy duty as far as the fan frenzy going on at the time. So that of course added to the excitement. But in those early years, it was nice to, because of the fact that with media in those days, you could just walk right on the putting green when they were practicing
yeah.
and go out and start chatting it up with them. And even if you didn't know them, just introduce yourself and start talking to them. And it was like they expected that to happen.
Wow. Nice.
Sure,
So
they
it's
sure.
literally a free for all for you guys, right?
Yeah, and we got spoiled that way because it was
Beautiful.
something we were used to, and it was something exciting for us too to look forward to every year.
Sure.
And to go out there and talk, with all these famous actors and and athletes and celebrities, and to have them really enjoy themselves. They really enjoyed the fact that they were here on the Monterey Peninsula, because flying in from wherever they were, whether it be the Southland, down where you are, to wherever they flew in from, they always say, one of the great quotes Andy Garcia always said, when he came up here, we'd say, how do you, what is your experience getting here and being here? What are you feeling? He said, coming to the Monterey Peninsula changes your spirit. And that's true.
True. The second I showed up yesterday, it was like I just left the planet and I'm somewhere else, and it doesn't
Exactly.
get any better.
Exactly.
I could see what attracted you, and then about 10 seconds of saying, "Okay, I'm living there."
Exactly. Yeah. And it wasn't the easiest thing to do. I had to come out here and I had to introduce myself around and make some friends and get in with the right people. And but of course, being in the media, as you know, being in the media helps open a lot of those doors anyway.
Oh, absolutely. How many years were you credentialed for? About.
Well, I got on in 1990. I think it was my first AT&T.
Okay.
So as soon as I got here, like that next year, I was on, and I've been, media every year since then, and broadcasted from the event every year since then. And sort of like one of our claimants to fame is the fact that for many, many years, for about 10 years in a row, we broadcasted live every Saturday morning from the
Right.
pro shop.
Oh,
And
no, yes.
yeah, and you can't get in there unless you're a player.
Yep.
So we had our group there. Jim Tunney was always with us, the famous referee who we lost
And my
recently.
principal.
That's right. And he was always part of that group, as well as several other notables, including Eric Lippert, the head pro, Pebble,
Yeah.
and before that, Chuck Dunbar. And we'd always have all the guys would come, and they knew we would send people down to the putting green and say, hey, Marzetti's in the shop on the radio, come in and say hi. And so all those guys, Huey Lewis and all
Sure.
those guys would come in and, shake hands and sit down for a few minutes on the show.
That's great. Do you have any Jim Tunney stories at all?
Well, the greatest thing that my Jim Tunney story is the
There
fact
you
that
are.
there we are with DC, as he called him, Dwight Clark.
Yep. The catch.
And that's on hole number 1 as he's getting ready to go off there.
Okay.
And I think that my Tunney story is the fact that he was responsible for letting me meet one of my, heroes. I only had a couple in my life, and one was Frank Sinatra, who I got a chance to be with, but the other one was Joe Montana.
Oh,
And
nice.
so he said, "Well,
how did that happen?
I'm doing a youth foundation fundraiser, Jim Tunney Youth Foundation fundraiser at the Hyatt, and if you want to come over and help me MC it, there's
Right.
going to be about 500 youths there, and someone with them, whether it be a relative or whatever, their dad
Yeah.
or their brother, whatever's got to be with them. And if you we'd appreciate it if you brought a youth, which I know kids, but a lot of friends with kids. So I brought Mike Bruno Jr., who is now a policeman in Carmel by the Sea. And when he was about, like 8 or 10 years old, I took him to that. And we were Jim and I were back in the backstage at the time at the Hyatt was the kitchen right behind the stage. And so we were hanging out back there, and then Joe came back to hang out. Started talking with Joe a little bit, met him, got some pictures with him and Tunney. And then we were chatting it up, and I said, it was his anniversary, but he flew down in his own plane into Monterey just for the day and do this event for Jim and the kids. And I said, can I get you something? And he said, and out in the ballroom, one of the vendors was McDonald's because there were so many kids there. They knew they would want McDonald's food and not just ballroom food. So I said, I said, there's McDonald's out there. He said, oh yeah, give me 2 cheeseburgers. So I ran out and got 2 cheeseburgers, came back in the kitchen, and he ate those cheeseburgers while I was talking to him and saying, wow, I'm with Joe Montana.
Very nice. Very nice. What about the biggest stars that you got to either meet or deal with at the Pro-Ams? Any specific stories stand out to you?
Well, there was one, where I was, it was after the cut.
Okay.
And it was Sunday. And so a lot of the amateurs left, and if they didn't make the cut, and one of those amateurs that missed the cut but stuck around was Kevin Costner, and he was sitting behind 18.
Right.
And that's where we kind of hung out to always get interviews and stuff. And so he was sitting right kind of close to where you are, and just hanging out on the grass. And so I went over and was talking to him a little bit. He said, sit down for a while with me. And so sat down, and I said, I've always wanted to tell you the story. I said, about 5 years ago, you were on the ropes and with the van signing on the ropes, and I was inside the ropes with you, though, and I was walking with you and talking to you at the same time as you were signing. And then I wanted to get an autograph for a friend of mine who was really like Kevin Costner. So I pulled out, the only thing I had with me was this packet, this envelope that had my meal tickets in it for the week, because at the time they gave you actual tickets. And so he signed it real quick, and we're talking, and these fans are all over him, and he put it in his pocket, and he took off.
Nice.
So then I had to chase him down and say, I need that envelope back, because he didn't sign anything. I just gave it to him, and he He thought, oh, this is, you're just giving me this, and he put it in his
Right.
pocket and he took off. And then
Wow.
so 5-10 years later, we're sitting there behind 18 talking. I told him that story, and he thought that was really funny because he said whenever somebody gives him something, he just puts it in his pocket. So,
Right.
and there were,
Hey,
and
Tom,
by the
could
way,
you
there were a
just say
couple of
hello,
other.
Tom? Good to see you. That's Tom Hoagie, former champion here. He just finished his round. I'm
And
literally like right behind the golf carts that are taking the players who just finished off to the sunset.
and speaking
Go ahead.
of champions, one of the cool things I always thought was that every year I during the early '90s, I would always find Jack Nicklaus, and
Right.
we always, he's from Columbus. I'm from Canton, Ohio, and
Oh, great. Okay.
he didn't know my name ever, of course, but whenever he saw me, his face lit up, and he went, "Hey, Canton, Ohio! Hey, Canton, Ohio!"
That's
So
great.
yeah,
That is awesome. Okay, there I am. One of my few times getting to play here on 18. Uh,
oh yeah.
what are your favorite
Did
stories
I
about
take?
playing
Did
this
I take?
course?
Did I take that picture? Because I know we played together.
You know what? I have no idea, but I'll give you credit for it because it is nice. That's one of my favorites.
That's a good one. It
Yeah.
didn't go in the water either, I don't think.
You know what? I played there a couple times. One went into the rocks. I tried to do a little slice job and I sliced my head off. Nice try. Anyway, when I saw a couple of the pros do it this week, I said, you know what? It's okay. They did it. I can do it. No
Yeah, there you
problem. But anyway, do you have any favorite stories about playing 7 or 18
go.
or any hole actually?
Well, I'll tell you what one of my favorite memories of playing Pebble is, and I played it over 100 times,
Wow.
uh, is that yeah, things were different a few years ago.
Yes.
Uh, but anyway, um, the late great R.J. Harper, who was the director of
Yeah.
golf, I had to come to
Beloved
him
here too,
once.
right?
What's that?
Beloved here.
Yes. Oh, big time.
Yep.
Big time. I had to go to him for a favor because I was getting married to Terry in 2003,
Okay.
and we were having all the gang come in for the wedding from
Right.
Omaha, where she's from, and a couple of those being golfers. And so I said, RJ, I know that, I've never asked you for, prime time. What is usually whenever you could fit me in, or what they call after revenue,
Right.
like at 2 o'clock or whatever. I said, but these guys are coming in from Omaha for the wedding, and I really want to impress them, and I really want to take care of them. So if you could just do me a little bit better to make sure that we finish, type thing.
Right.
And so he sent me an email back, and he was very nice about it, and said, I
Good.
understand. He said, I got you. I'm going to put you guys off at noon. You'll be done. This was in September, so you're done way early,
Nice.
and and congratulations,
Yep.
and enjoy your round. So we get out there and we're playing. We get to 18, and it's the sun's not even going down, and you can still see the sun on the horizon. It was just a gorgeous day in September.
Yep.
And we get to 18, and there's a guy standing there in a butler outfit with black tails and a tux on, with a silver tray, a white napkin over his arm, and
Wow.
a big bottle of champagne and 4 glasses.
Wow. That's amazing.
So
Welcome to
it was,
paradise, right?
it was so great. And he said, Marzetti party? And we said, yes. And he said, this is complimentary from RJ. And
Wow.
so we opened the champagne, and you know there was a card with it, and it was a little note in there from RJ, and said, birdie the last hole and have fun. And so we drank our champagne as we're in our carts going down 18, and on a beautiful day, and it was an amazing experience.
What about playing the course though? Is there like, did you ever like a hole in one or get close or a
Yeah, I got
specific shot
close.
that you'll never forget?
No, I got close. I got close.
What,
Actually,
seven?
I was playing in a private event out there,
Right.
almost a seven, but birdied. I remember I birdied 8, which was
Okay.
pretty amazing because I got right to the cliff on my drive and popped it over the ravine and got on there with 6 feet and made the putt. But I remember birdieing 18 also that same day, and I had like the round of my life at
Nice.
Pebble. I mean, it was close to par.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
that
you'll
was
never forget for sure.
yeah, that was awesome.
That's awesome. What about maybe the most special time you ever had with a celebrity? I know you mentioned some stories you had with John Denver. Anybody else stand out, like maybe a Glenn Campbell? Or I know Bing was gone by then, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Um, yeah, we had, as a matter of fact, there was a guy I think I was talking about this the other night, but there was a guy by the name of Jim Lang that a lot of people might remember as host of the dating game. So
Yep.
he came to town. We played golf a couple of rounds on the peninsula, and then he was doing a broadcast from the pro-am like we
Right.
were. And he was over in the lodge, and we were in the media center. But I was on the putting green with Tommy Smothers and John Denver
Nice.
and Glenn Campbell, and the three of those guys knew Jim well, and so we started talking about Jim Lang, and I said, Jim's over in the lodge doing a broadcast. They said, he is. Take us over there. Take us over there. So I walked those three guys over there, and they jumped on his show,
Right.
and Tommy was so happy about it because he loved Jim, and he gave me one of his signature yo-yos
Nice.
that I still have. Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, Tommy, I heard, was a very interesting guy, and by the way, played a hell of a guitar and banjo.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
and I still think Glenn Campbell, if he's not the best ever, he is probably the most underappreciated musician ever.
It's
The guy was
fantastic.
ridiculously good.
Just the one of the best guitarists that we ever had.
Yep, absolutely.
And
Did
those
you get a
guys, of
chance?
course, in those days, of course, the
Yeah,
volunteers always got a big party put on by the tournament, and those
right.
guys always played and entertained that
Oh, I
night.
bet that must have been fantastic.
Yeah, I never went, but I heard.
Oh, you never went? Okay.
Yeah,
No, I know they never let us in those things, do they?
that's right.
We're the peons, baby.
That's right. That's right.
Totally. And John Denver was, I heard you talking, he was a really good guy, right?
Fantastic guy. Had a place on Maui. Was like
Yep.
really, centered and so just overly friendly and just full of what I would call just very much of joy, just a lot of joy. And it was sad that we lost him. We lost him here off Pacific Grove, right in the ocean there. And
Yeah, it's
there's
the
a
way we
memorial
lost
there.
him too.
Yeah.
I know, it's so sad. Was there something about this tournament though that um, because you were so close and you felt like, I mean, you're almost like a part of the event. You've been doing it for so long.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that sometimes. And one of the great things I remember that was a great memory for me is I could actually show you the picture.
Yeah, please.
It's up on the wall.
Okay.
Uh, is when I got a chance to hang out with Payne Stewart when he won,
Nice.
and we were in the media room. And at the time, they were strict about, oh, we don't want autographs, pictures, that kind of stuff. And I'm
Right.
like, gee, guys, and we chatted it up all week and sort of became kind of like buddies. And we got in the media room, and he had the trophy and everything,
Right.
and I went up to him. I said, "Can we get a shot?" And he said, "Oh yeah." He put his arm around me, had the trophy, and the people at the media room at the time, they said, "No, no, no, no." We had and Payne put his arm out and said, "No, no, no. I want this shot. I want him in this shot."
Oh, good.
So we took a shot.
Yeah, where is that? Okay. Nice.
Can you see that?
Yeah. Outstanding.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah, Payne once, when he was down at Riviera one year, I asked him if he could do one of those 5-second liners for me for my radio show,
Right.
And he said, and he read what I wrote for him. He goes, "This is Payne Stewart of the PGA Tour, and you're listening to another real Payne, Ted Sobel." And he did it so good too. It was just
Oh,
perfect.
that's great. That's
He
great.
had such a great sense of humor. He was a fun guy to be
Yeah,
around.
he was a fun guy.
By the way, the latest now is Rory McIlroy is at 18 under through 12 holes. Got a 2-shot lead over Lucas Glover, Tom Kim, and Shane Lowry, right there. Still, we got a long way to go, but
Yeah.
I wanted to do some reminiscing here because you have so many great stories. Close us off with one that when you think about it, it either makes you laugh or it makes you cry because it was so good.
Well, I'll tell you one
Yeah,
is that back in, I guess, late 90s or something like
okay,
that, Trump was here not playing. And we were in the media room above the shops there at the putting green, and we were looking out the window. And one of the media
right.
guys said to me, "Hey, isn't that Trump walking into the lodge? Donald Trump?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I'm going to go get him. So I ran over there with my cassette recorder
Right.
and into the lobby of the lodge, and he's in there with Melania, who they were not married yet. And I put out my hand and said, "Hey, hi, I'm Dave Marzetti. I'm with this radio station," and he is the only time in my life that someone wouldn't shake my hand because at the time
Yeah, he was
he wasn't
paranoid,
doing
like touching
he
people or
wasn't
something.
shaking anybody's hand, and I didn't know that. So anyway, he didn't shake my hand. That was really weird. And then he said, "Well, how do?" And I had all my badges and all my media stuff on, and my radio station stuff
Yeah, it's
on.
pretty obvious who you were, right?
Yeah, and he said, "Well, how do I know you're who with the
Yeah, I
media
stole all
threat?"
5 of these badges
Yeah, exactly. Just to
with my
talk to
picture.
you. Yeah, yeah. So then I
He
said, "Well,
probably
I just
thought you were going to take money out of his hand. That might have been
yeah."
the other reason.
So he says, so he says, well, okay, what can I do for you? And I said, I just wanted to ask you. I saw that story in Golf Digest about the guy who was at one of your golf courses who killed a swan with a
Right.
golf club, and he said, that guy will never be seen again. I mean, we're shutting that guy off. He's lucky if he'll ever be able to play golf anywhere. So
Oh,
that was
jeez.
pretty much the. And then I went back up to the media room, and they said, "Did you get him?" I said, "Yeah, I got him." And they said, and I said, "But you know what was weird? He wouldn't shake my hand." And they said, "No, he doesn't shake hands. He's the German forward. He doesn't shake hands with anybody."
Yeah.
But
So
obviously,
you felt a little
he had to get
better that,
over
right?
that. Yeah.
Right. That's great. Can you hear the water behind me? Because I can't tell. I don't have any headphones on or anything.
No.
You can't. Okay, because I it's right over my head,
Right.
right there, and it sounds phenomenal. Is all I could say.
That's a great shot you got back there.
It's the best thing I've ever done in my life. And Tommy Fleetwood, Tommy, hey Tommy, right here. Can you just say hi? Welcome, sir. Tommy Fleetwood leaving the course. I told you I'm right here. He's 10 feet away from me.
Exactly. That's where they
Anyway,
go in. That's where they go and get in their shuttle.
yep, they get in the shuttle. And they get as fast away as they can from me.
That
That guy jumped on the pedal so fast he didn't know. There's skid marks from the golf cart.
these poor guys come in after having a bad day, and they get these dumb questions from us media people about how was your game today.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the last person they want to see right now is me. I guarantee you. Anyway, Dave, I really appreciate the time. This was very special. I wanted to be able to do again AT&T. I thank them for setting this up so I can get Wi-Fi right here, overlooking the 18th green. Maybe can you see the background there?
That's amazing. Yep, I know exactly where you are.
Yes, booth where Amanda Valionis does her interviews.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
So it's very special to be here, and I appreciate you, sir.
By the way, one of the great things
Yep.
I got to mention it is the fact I became close friends with Jim. With Jim Nance.
Yeah.
And been up in the booth several times up there
Nice.
behind 18. I'll never forget the first time I went up there. I was surprised that he was watching the golf on the monitors, and his back was to 18. But
yeah,
of
I've
course that
noticed that
makes
actually a
sense.
few times
Yeah.
looking up. You could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess if there's nobody on 18, he's watching the action where he wouldn't be able to see it, or if there's anybody that they're not paying attention to, it doesn't really matter who's out there. But it is weird.
Well, we sure appreciate you. Sure appreciate the friendship.
Thanks, David. Tell everybody where they can find your shows on online. Your Sundays with Sinatra, which you did this morning.
Yeah, Sundays with Sinatra. You can go to KMBY. You can use the mobile app, which is a free mobile app, KMBY Radio. Just go to the App Store. You can go online, Alexa, enable KMBY, listen that way. You can listen, of course, on the computer, online, KMBY.com. It's easy to find. Every Sunday morning for 6 hours, we do Sinatra. It's commercial free. Sinatra and friends, of course, like Dino and Sammy and Steve Lawrence, Edie Gourmet, and
Right.
Bobby Darin and all that stuff.
That's great. Good stuff. I love the old stuff. Nothing comes close to it anymore.
No way.
You're keeping it alive, baby.
No way. As a matter of fact, here he is right here. Look.
Who's that? I got a glare, so you're going to have to tell me who it is. Oh, that's Frank. There's Frank.
Yeah, that's my picture.
Marzetti is what it is.
That's right. That's right.
All right, man. Thanks. All the best. Be well, and it was great seeing you again on this trip.
You too, brother.
All right, hang on real quick. I'm going to hit the end of our show. Everybody, I hope you enjoyed this. It was really, really special to do this. Off the 18th green at Pebble Beach, it's about as good as it gets on the planet.